Have that discussion now. If you have that discussion in November, it's too late from a planning perspective.
I don't think that the industry process will have any problem absorbing the numbers that we're talking about. If you bear in mind just how far we've dropped.
Every farmer has to make their own decision in terms of organising strategy for their own business, and I suggest you look for 5 years, start to pick over that million, and over the next 3 or 4 years, I guess, we're starting to track in a good position. So 3 or 4% growth a year, that'd be good, but every farmer's got to make their own decision.
2020 before we stabilise from the downturn in numbers that we have now. If the growth is managed and the markets are keeping up, and it's not affecting, our returns, then it's all about strategic managed growth, isn't it? And we should be able to handle it.
We killed 600,000 the year before, and that caused a fairly major problem, but it was the volatility that caused the problem, not the absolute. And so if we can manage to keep things on a reasonably even keel going forward, then there isn't really a major problem in the Denison side of things, and probably in all fairness there isn't in the Velvet either. The agriculture sector does have a bad habit of sort of acting like lemmings. When everybody takes fright, they will bail. We might manage to flatten some of those humps and hollows out, which would actually give you a very stable industry and a very profitable one.
We could handle double the numbers that we've got now. What we don't want to do is double the numbers in 3 years. Yeah. If you went 2 years ago to a bank and said, can I have $5 million to convert my farm to dairy, they'd say have 6. Yeah. If you went to the bank to say, can I have $500,000 to deer fence the farm, they'd say what? And you'd have to justify the business case. One of the things we need to do if we want to encourage young people at the bottom is make sure that it's bankable. So if we get people that are enthusiastic enough to have a crack, then we've got to make sure that the people that are going to either put equity in or put the debt in have equal confidence in the industry.
Customers and their markets have created the structure around was about 50 to 70. What you've seen over the years is it grown from 45 up to 85 kilos, so it has got wider, and in most companies the same premium price applies for that. Once you start to move outside of that, you either get cuts too small or you get pieces too big that don't fit the portion size, the plate size, the yields of the restaurants want, and the products, the quality products that our customers are trying to sell. P2P has absolutely been designed around lifting the average weight of deer killed and saying that if the average was 53 and it hadn't moved in 10 years, if that can move up to 60 as an average weight, we absolutely encourage that, and it fits absolutely within what our customers and our markets require.
Well, it's also in the sheep industry. So, we encourage and pay premium for lambs, for the size of lambs and the configuration of lambs that the customer wants. And if outside of that, then there's obviously financial consequences.
We're going to ask for a 1.5% levy increase per sector, 3 cents total. 1.5 cents from you, 1.5 cents from the exporters come October 1. We're short a few bob, but we might have to re-look at the levy. But at the moment, the planning is, and Dan may want to comment, but the planning is that with the government money and for P2P plus the slight levy increase, the reserves that we're running down now, we should manage it. We will always cut our cloth, believe me, make no mistake.
The first priority is to use the reserves to pay the first part of our share of the P2P, which is the $8 million over 7 years. The second part is the levy increase. So right now we're backing you as a group and ourselves collectively as an industry to improve the performance, because what we are very confident about is the drop in kilos will not be as big as the drop in numbers in terms of head. If we collectively perform, then the levy comes through kilos. It doesn't matter whether it's kilos of velvet or kilos of venison. We know that you guys are actually improving your performance. We're not going to ask for 1 cent more than we think we need, and we think right now, on the best information we've got available, that it's 3 cents. Reserves will run down to 0 in 5 years' time, but we're backing ourselves and you people to do better than that, but it will be under continuous review.
This is responsibility of every farmer, Tim, to be in that space to try and lobby the government or re-encourage our farmers to get out there and submit and tell them, you know, what the reality of this is. I do believe though that the environment is the right thing. We do have to do our part.
We are working closely with Beef and Lamb, so we try, you know, we've got limited resources, and so we do work closely. I know that Lindsay keeps in close contact with them, but just making sure that the particular issues relevant to deer farmers are kept in front of the relevant people.
Some people are getting blindsided by the fact that the regulations have come up and they didn't know. We have to make sure we're engaged. The MGM is a good example, you know, matrix of good management. We need to understand what good looks like, and we need to understand what bloody good looks like. Because in some areas we'll have to be better than good. The executive resources aren't enough by themselves. We need all of you people to be engaged. We need to promote deer as a part of the solution to the environmental thing, not part of the problem. We've just got to manage the phosphate as opposed to nitrate. The only thing we can do is actually look for it as an opportunity for this industry rather than a threat and get involved.
There's nothing like farmers turning up and making individual submissions or representations to the relevant regional council hearing or planning committee.
Mostly you'll see that companies actually only operate for themselves. There is broad discussion occurs between the bigger companies, but it's not collective and it's not collaborative. The meat industry, the first thing you've pretty much got to have is process capacity, right? And once you've got that process capacity, then you've got to work out what you're going to do with this meat. With velvet, actually all you need to do is to be able to put it in the freezer and get an MPI certificate and you can export it. It's not as easy a task as getting 5 companies together and meet. We've probably got 30 companies that can actually trade velvet.
Would I be way more confident now about being able to work our way through this than I was 25 years ago? Absolutely. The business has really restructured itself from where it was. So I would have a huge amount more confidence now than before. Volatility that causes the problems, and so if we grow the velvet production steadily, I don't think we're going to run into any great sort of wall, but if we retained a whole lot of stags and took a big jump, that would create the issue. A lot of things we were striving to achieve 25 years ago are now actually come into place. We've moved on a long, long way, and I think it's if we can act in a more of a cooperative fashion from the pasture right through to the owner doctor or the consumer in Korea or Asia, I'd be very confident this thing's in a really good place.